What I would love to know is the feedback and conversations you're having with companies who are investing in ERP and making the decision of, do we go collect data directly from the edge, pipe it directly into our ERP so that we can go through the process of making those decisions?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a great setup, Dave, to allow me to shoot myself in the foot. Look, it's a bit of a religious debate, right? I don't think there's a clear winner. However, just macro level, okay? There are, when I think of data sources, right, there's kind of systems of record. Then you've got maybe systems of differentiation, and then you might have some innovative thing you're doing. That's sort of one dimension. Another dimension is the frequency of the data. The ERP it's transactional data that is not real time. So if you are producing 30 readings a second off some sensor, maybe that should live in a historian or some other tool. Do my analytics on that, feed the result up to the ERP. If I need to take some sort of action, a work order, manage the costs there. I don't think that it needs to live in one source. I think there's a logical breakpoint. So some of the things that I would talk through or think through is probably the frequency of the data, why it actually needs to be in the ERP. If I just need to know if there's an anomaly and then I take action, that's a different story than doing my analytics on that. That the user communities might enter into that. So those are some of the things that I would poke at and want to talk about out loud as to why it should live in one place versus the other. Is there benefit to putting it in the ERP?
No, at the end of the day, we need data somewhere. And the key point should be what we do with it and the actions we take, as opposed to the solution we build and where it lives in the overall ecosystem.
Yeah, I absolutely. And that debate, I know we talked about it in terms of that equipment level data. It happens with best of breed solutions as well, in the process inventory optimization in the ERP or some third party tool, work management. It's the same sort of debate. There's overhead with an integration, but do you really need that information in the central place? Those are some of the things you got to poke at.
Absolutely. And we won't get into it, but my personal opinion has changed back and forth multiple times as to the direction one should go. And so we want broadly for you, Elvis, nice, easy question for you.
Very
What ERP is going to look like in the next, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, very easy. And Dave, no offense, if I could predict the future, maybe we wouldn't be on the podcast. But look, this ERP has been around, like I said, 4 decades, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be around? I think it is. And I think it is because that transactional data that you need to run the business needs to live somewhere. I think it's going to be in some derivative of ERP. What I find really fascinating right now in this space, we just touched a little bit about AI. We didn't really go into use cases, but there is a really interesting thing you can find from the CEO of Microsoft on YouTube where he says something like, business applications are dead. And it's a hook, of course, but man, you look at that and you think that is really fascinating. So the point he is making is there's going to be a database and there's going to be agents on top of that contain the business logic. And if you think through that, you realize, what does that mean for a business application? I don't know. Maybe they don't exist anymore, but I could see it happening. Prediction, if it's worth anything, ERP continues to live. The data's got to live there. What the interaction looks like, that's probably some Gen AI thing.